welcome back to the podcast. Obviously, I am a day late. Yesterday, I won't lie to you, it was very stressful for me, had an admin day, but the way that I like to look at stress is, will it be stressing me out in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, 12 months' time? If the answer is no, you've just got to run through, deal with the stress on the day and get through it. But we're here, and this week the podcast is on how to be selfish without feeling guilty. And this for me honestly changed my life when I started to be selfish with the decisions that I made on a day-to-day basis, and I'd done things that were right for me. It was like a cheat code. Like the amount of things that oh my god, the size of that bee. A bee just flew at my head, sorry about that. The amount of things, oh god, it's hot. The amount of things that I used to do in a day. Right, welcome back to the podcast. We are a day late, apologies for that. I did sit down and record this yesterday, however, I was feeling a bit stressed because I had a lot of life admin things to do, and as you know, life admin is the bane of life. But also, stress, the way I like to look at it is it going to be affecting me in 3 months' time? If the answer's no, you just have to deal with the stress in a day. Expect the day to be stressful and get on with it. So that was yesterday, and now we are here. If you're watching this on YouTube, you will see that I am absolutely sweating out because I think it's above 30 degrees today, but I just love the backdrop. So excuse the beads of sweat that you'll see running down me. But anyway, this week's podcast is on how to be selfish without feeling guilty, and this honestly changed my life. I mentioned last week that I was doing a lot of things for other people, and that really did put a block on my life. So now I want to talk you through how I made the changes that I did. I'm not going to lie, it's not easy because obviously, and where I think I'll start with this podcast is, we're taught from a very young age that being selfish is a very bad thing, when in my opinion, the reality is being inconsiderate is a bad thing, but being selfish is not. And what I mean by that is, if there's one slice of pizza left in a box and there's 5 people sitting around it, and you just get up and take that slice of pizza, when you're younger, your parents probably said, that's you being selfish. No, it's not. It's you being inconsiderate. Yeah, you're not considering the feelings of others, and you're just going to serve yourself, right? So don't be that person. Don't be that form of selfish, because that just makes you rude, impolite, and a bit of a prick. But being selfish means saying no to more things that you don't want to do, or you feel that you should do, even though you don't want to. And for me personally, that has really changed my life. I can't believe how hot it is. Honest to God, I've got a little towel here to wipe away the beads of sweat. If you're watching on YouTube, you're seeing that. So that's where I think the guilt comes from. When we're younger, we're told, don't be selfish, don't be selfish, that is selfish. When the reality is, I think that is being inconsiderate. Now, there are several ways and situations where you can be more selfish, and a quote that I love at the moment is, if it's not a fuck yes, then it's an absolute no. So if you're making decisions, whether that means with your partner, with your family, with your friends, if you're making decisions that aren't in your own head a fuck yes, then it has to be a no, because if you say yes to things that you don't want to do, you're literally just living to please other people. And when you live to please other people, it's only going to be detrimental to yourself. The way I like to look at it is like, imagine an iPhone battery, and you keep saying yes to things that you don't want to do all the time. Oh, do you want to go out? Yes. Oh, do you want to go and see this person? Yes. Oh, let's do this? Yes. Every time you do that, you are draining your battery. And ultimately, you're going to get to a point where you've got, like Ian Bill, nothing left. Because all you're doing is trying to serve other people. And I was in that position. I literally would say I would do things that I felt I should do all the time with my family and so on. And obviously with your family, I think that is the highest level of or the hardest level to be selfish, because there is the society beliefs that you have to act a certain way around certain people because they are blood or whatever. Like a saying that's always been told to me is blood is thicker than water. But for me, everyone is a human. So the way I like to be selfish with my decisions is, if you treat me in the way you would treat another human, fantastic. But if you treat me in a way where you think you should because you've got a label in my life, whether that's best friend, mum, dad, girlfriend, whatever, if you're treating me a certain way which I don't think is fair to treat another human, then I'm going to be selfish with my decisions, and I don't really care about blood being thicker than water. Yeah, I'm just going to say no, I don't want to do that. And I think that saying no to things is one of the biggest superpowers you will ever have. When you have the ability to say no, you're going to be then doing more things that set your world alight, which is so important, because rather than draining that iPhone battery, you're going to be topping it up all the time, because you're choosing things that make you happy. And the reality is no one's in your head, so no one knows how much that means to you by not going out, or not going to see that certain person because they don't make you feel good. And the reality is if you've got the right people around you, they're not going to get wound up. They're not going to get annoyed with you because you're saying no to things. They're going to understand, okay, they don't want to do this, there must be a good reason. Now, I'm not saying be friends with someone that constantly says no to you, because ultimately then it shows that you're not in their priorities, which is absolutely okay, but maybe you've grown in different directions, which again is absolutely fine. Something I will say though about being very selfish, which I know I am, is for me personally, if I'm going to be a selfish person and I'm only going to do the things that make me feel good, I can't then be pissed off or upset when someone else is selfish, because then I'm a hypocrite. So you need to treat people the way that you like to be treated. For example, if I've planned to go to dinner with a mate and they say, oh, I can't do tonight because I'm not feeling right or whatever, then for me, I can't kick off because they're doing what's right for them. And in the same instance, I wouldn't have people around me that would say or get the arsehole that I wasn't turning up. And if you do have people around you like that make you feel bad or make you feel guilty for being selfish, they're probably not the right people around you. And you'll know who these people are straight away, because they'll make you feel physically agitated, you'll be frustrated, you'll feel anxious around them, you'll feel like, oh, I'm here but I don't really want to be here, I'm just doing it because we've been mates for so long, or we've been together for so long, or I've known you for so long. But you need to take into, it's your accountability and your responsibility to do the things that make you happy. And people think that being selfish is such a bad thing. When you're selfish and you make decisions for yourself, you're going to be a happier person. And when you're a happier person, everyone else's interactions with you are going to be better. So for example, if you say, no, you don't want to go out on a night out, but you end up going to it, then when you're on the night out, you're not going to be your usual happy self. You're probably going to be a bit reserved, a bit like, oh, I can't really bother to be here. And everyone's going to get that experience of you. Whereas if you go out on a night out, which you can't wait to go out on, which is a fuck yes, you're going to be the life and soul of the party. So you're going to be a lot happier in that moment. Yeah? So understand that when you're selfish, it is better for everyone around you. And anyone around you that doesn't like you being selfish with your time or doesn't understand it, they're probably not the right people to have in your life. If someone makes you feel bad for doing what is right for you, fuck them off straight away, because surely you want people that are there for you to bring you up rather than pull you down or scrutinize the decisions that you're making. Because when that happens, how do you expect to be happy? Because you're not going to be selfish, because you're worried about what other people think. And when you worry about what other people think, you're going to then do things that you really don't want to do, and that in turn is just going to drain your battery, and you're going to be a shell of the person that you want to be, or further away from the person that you are, because you're just doing things for other people constantly. Now, when I say be selfish and have the ability to say no as well, I'm not saying don't be considerate or don't compromise on decisions. For example, if I had a girlfriend and she was into the opera, yeah, she said, "Oh, Nath, I want you to come to the opera." Going to the opera is the furthest thing from anything that I want to do. However, if that is going to make the person that I love happy, yes, I would go to the opera once. Yeah, I would try it. And if it wasn't for me, I'd then turn around and say, "Look, this isn't for me. If you want to go again, that's absolutely fine, but go with your friends or your family, because I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm there for 2-3 hours, bored out my nut." Yeah? So compromise on different situations, but definitely don't say there's an absolute no. However, a lot of the decisions that you make, you need to be honest with yourself and whoever you're making them with, because you need to have the ability to understand, okay, this is actually not what I want to do. And yes, again, you'll be scrutinized, there can be judgment, but if that is the case, the people around you, they're probably not the right people to have around you. Because ultimately, for me, all I want for my mates is the best for them. So if I want to go out and they don't, fair enough. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if I was the other way around and I'm like, "Oh, why aren't you coming out? You're boring, da 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 da." Like, obviously there's going to be a little bit of back and forth because you want to spend time with your mates. But also you need to respect that if they don't want to do something, they don't want to do something. And likewise, you need people around you that respect that if you don't want to do something, you don't want to do it. And I promise you now, like, over the last 3 or 4 years, I think it is, I've made decisions that are more selfish for myself. Like, for example, moving to Australia. My mum, she would not have wanted me to move the other side of the world, but to be selfish, I can't live for my mum. I've got to live for myself. And it turned out to be one of the best decisions I've ever done. Just like me moving to Bali now. Again, it is a selfish decision, but it's the right decision for me. And I'm sure you've seen the difference in the content that I've been creating since I've been in Bali, the difference that it's made on my mental health. And ultimately, for me, nothing is worth jeopardizing my mental health for. And when I'm making decisions, selfish decisions that make me happier, then all round I'm going to be a better person. My interactions with my family is going to be better, my friends are going to be better, everyone. Because I'm doing things that I want to do, which I know make me happy. And that is the mindset that you need to adopt. You're not doing this to be an arsehole, you're looking to make yourself happier, which in turn is going to improve everything around you. The way you work, the way you are at work, the relationships you have with your family, the relationship you have with your partner, your friends, your confidence will go up. There's so many benefits. So don't feel guilty for being selfish. If you're inconsiderate, stop being a prick, obviously. But being selfish is honestly a superpower.